about 11 guys in green jerseys that puckered up a little bit.
You can return it. And then it's a free-for-all. The career long in college for Elliott, 56. This to win it and become an instant hero in Philadelphia. Jake Elliott. Is it good? It is good! Philadelphia wins it!
Oh, yes. Incredible victory for the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. Jake Elliott, are you kidding me? I sure as hell didn't believe it. Glockcast episode 6, here to make some sense of a ridiculously incredible, chaotic NFL Week 3. What an insane week. We have a monster show planned today for you. We're going to make a big announcement with fantasy football. We got a guest today. Now we don't have Rob. I put a restraining order on him. We're playing each other in the fantasy baseball championship. I don't want him anywhere near me, 500 feet. He can't be here today. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I have the man who had the best tweet of the weekend, Mr. Shane Dunphy.
Yeah, let's just talk about Jake. I have a hammer in my fucking pants, Elliott. 61 fucking yards. What an animal. Savage.
Dude, you were in the stadium. Just give me what was going on in your head, around you, everything. I want to hear the scene.
First of all, let's talk about how hot it was in that stadium. I think
Dude, it was so hot Sunday.
90 degrees in the seats. Field level had to feel like literal hell, actually. It was probably about 110 degrees. Carson was glistening with sweat off of his forehead, but I had to actually go inside. It was so hot, me and my buddy. And the rest of the
I was
people,
up there for like 2 hours. I got sunburn everywhere.
Dude, you see the sunglass tan on my face? I look like an asshole right now.
So hot outside. I don't know how the hell they played football in that weather. I mean, I think that played a role into how sloppy it was and the game plan, honestly.
Dude, inside. So I'm in club level, dude. And as soon as the kick got snapped, my initial thought was, oh no, because it was a high snap. Thank God Donnie Jones has a fat cock and kind of settled it down. But as soon as it went up in the air, silence. You hear one guy yell, "Please be good." And as soon as you see it start bending back in.
I had absolutely zero faith in Elliott. I didn't even want to.
His last kick like barely made it almost 40 yards. I was like, this is fine. This doesn't have a shot.
Dude, I didn't even want to kick the ball. I swear to God.
You text me. You said Odell's going to run this back.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
I was having flashbacks of Alabama-Auburn. If Odell Beckham returned a touchdown there, I literally wouldn't be doing this podcast because I'd be dead laying in the Delaware River. Seriously. Yeah,
I would have jumped from club level for sure. But yeah, dude, when that thing went through, I mean, absolute pure elation. I mean, I hugged a guy that was so sweaty, I like slid down his back. I wanted to throw up. He smelled like a cheesesteak, like just marinating in the sun. But dude, I was high-fiving people, hugging people. I had no idea. I mean, it was nuts.
Dude, that's what it's all about. That's what sports are about. Fuck the dumb shit that's going on. That's what it's all about. Sunday was insane on the field. Now, me and Shane were talking about what we were going to talk about for this week, and this is no bullshit. I will tweet the screenshot of our conversation. We're like, yeah, let's bouncing around ideas. We're like, dude, let's do a what the fuck moment, WTF moment of the week, like whether it's a ridiculous fantasy performance or an upset or something that just caught our attention.
Yeah, and here I am thinking we're going to be looking for content, too.
I didn't know I was going to have an honorable mentions list today. I was thinking, 2 things. We'll throw it out on a poll, see what the people think. No, I have like a list of like 11 things. I have an honorable mentions list, for Christ's sake. We will throw it out to you on Twitter so you can vote as well. But we'll get into that. We're going to do some fantasy today. We're trying out some new things this week. We'll get into the birds. We'll get into Doug. And we're even going to talk some MLB, NBA, and Flyers. Big news across the board there. The Sixers started up this week. The NBA's starting up. There's trades everywhere. So we got a ton of stuff to cover. But let's go into our first segment, the what the fuck moment of the week. Now, Shane, I'm going to run through these honorable mentions list here real quick for you. Now, these are any of other given week. These will be like, holy shit, I can't believe this just happened. Oakland gets crushed in D.C. Quick thought.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Carr throwing an interception, second play of the game. Did not see that happening.
No.
I thought for sure. I didn't think Oakland was going to stop him, but I mean, Kirk's back to form though. Captain Kirk looked good, man.
Yeah, and the Redskins are 2-1 too. They have a brutal schedule. I mean, yeah, they have a brutal schedule. They go to KC next week. So I mean, yeah, and the NFC East all of a sudden 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. The Giants are dead, but it's a race.
Flush them down the toilet.
Dude, how about Case Keenum?
Case Keenum, fuck off. I'll tell you what, I put Stephon Diggs and stuffed him on the bench.
Yeah, I
that
think
guy
on
was
the bench,
slinging
31
rock.
points as well. He lit it up. Who saw that coming? Absolutely nobody.
I'll tell you one thing, and I'm going to go back to it again. I said it a couple times last week, but Case Keenum is actually a virgin. And I hate that guy, dude. I hate him.
Dude, I did not see that coming for a mile away, dude. As soon as they said Bradford was out, I was like, oh, you know what? Tampa Bay,
Adam
lock them
Thielen,
up.
bench.
And
Stephon
speaking
Diggs,
of locks,
bench.
my locks were absolute dog shit this past week.
Yeah, my locks got broken into, too. My entire shed is gone.
Holy smokes. But how about the final play of Atlanta-Detroit? I mean,
Dude, oh my God. Absolute robbery. I think,
Jesus.
I don't know.
And Atlanta keeps escaping. I said they would take steps back. They should be 1-2, that shit team.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then Detroit's shit was on fire. Their food was on fire.
Yeah, if insult to injury, let's just light your. Did you see the lady too? One of the worst fire women or firefighters in history. She just opened the door and then closed. It was like, fuck it, not my problem.
That was a scene. I couldn't believe I was saying that on Twitter. How about Denver getting slaughtered in Buffalo?
Dude, I told you last week I wanted no parts of that game.
You did. You called that. You called that. There's one other. Rob called. We'll talk about that in a few minutes here. And then how about the shootout on Thursday night?
Oh my God. Brian Hoyer,
Dude.
elite but not elite.
That game was so bad, it was like really entertaining. It was really entertaining.
Girlie looks like a beast though.
But so that was just the honorable mention list. That's how ridiculous this week was. Now for the nominees. Ladies and gentlemen, the ones we want you to vote on. I have to restart the music. There's so many damn moments this week. All right. Number 1, the Dolphins get absolutely smashed in New York by the Jets. My God.
Dude. Jay
Your boy,
Chicken Cutlet.
He sucks.
He does. He blows, dude.
Dude, the Dolphins are a disaster. Now Gates is. I said last week I would rather have Gates than Peterson.
Yeah, so did
He's
I.
like calling everybody out and shit now. Like, he needs to relax. You can't have your team play that shitty in New York against the stinking Jets.
Oh, my God.
And then blame it on the players. How about you take some responsibility, buddy? Steelers, Rob called it. Just like you called Denver going down, Rob called the Steelers going down. They go down to Chicago in overtime.
That game's so confusing to me, and I think that Mike Lennon is making $45 million over the next 3 years. He stinks. The Bears stink. I don't know how they beat the Steelers.
Dude, they played well against Atlanta at home and beat Pittsburgh at home. Crazy. They'll probably have a come down this week.
I'll tell you what, that 1-2 combo, you got Howard and Tyreek Cohen back there. That's deadly.
Yeah, that's a pretty good running back
It's like
combo.
it's like a poor man's Freeman and Coleman.
That's actually not a bad point. It is. It's pretty close to that. How about the international incident in London? Jacksonville absolutely, positively slaughters the Ravens. I had the Ravens on 2 of those Delaware shit tickets. I lost the both bets I had before the 1 o'clock even kicked off. I never thought that was possible.
Wait,
it was possible.
Is the incident the actual game, or was it Joe Flacco's suit? Because that thing was. It looked like you got
it.
Dude, it looked like you went to Burlington Coat Factory and was like, "Give me the cheapest suit you have. I'm gonna wear it."
He's making what's he making? Like
I don't know.
Flacco's up there. I know he signed a monster
Blake
contract.
Bortles, elite.
Yeah, I guess so. Again,
Mercedes Lewis coming out of the woodwork.
Somebody
too.
tweeted. I knew I was in trouble when I was on the way to the Eagles game, and somebody tweeted, "Man, Blake Bortles looks like a competent NFL quarterback." I'm like, shit, I'm fucked. And number 4, the GOAT, Tom Brady's game-winning touchdown pass to Brandon Cooks on a dime. The Patriots saved the suicide pick of myself, which I was about to commit suicide during that whole time frame.
You and the rest of America.
The Eagles were losing or about to blow that game. The Patriots were about to lose my suicide. I think I was losing in all 3 fantasy leagues at this point. I was having a mental freaking breakdown.
Tom Brady. I mean, it's Tom Brady he's Brady. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but everyone that drafted Brandon Cooks that high, like top 20, early 20s, that's what they want.
That's what they were.
That's what they got.
I mean, you have to. That game was sick in general. I didn't watch much of it, but
Is
I
Pat's
did
D
see highlights.
that bad? Are they that bad?
Yeah, they might
because
be.
Houston's offense is not good.
I saw our old friend Eric Rowe. Now, I don't love PFF rankings, but Eric Rowe's ranked 109 of 109 on corners. Jesus Christ.
That makes me feel better, but he still has a Super Bowl.
I know the Eagles corners actually look pretty good right now, and we get compensation for that pick. But anyway, I think Deshaun Watson looked pretty good too. I mean, he's a baller.
He did.
I mean, they almost beat New England in New England, which makes me think this league is wide open. So that's our 4. I need your pick. Dolphins get slaughtered by the Jets. Steelers lose in overtime. The international incident or Brady's heroics. What's your pick?
I'm going Jacksonville, 44-7. I mean,
saw
you're
that
on
coming?
you're on an international stage. Give the people something to watch, and you send over that just I don't know.
I'm going to go with the Dolphins. This is inexcusable. That was I couldn't believe they lost. That's my WTF moment of the week.
How about Ajayi? I thought Ajayi was going to run for maybe 4,000 yards that game alone, and he was invisible.
Hold that thought for just 1 second. We want you to vote. We'll put the poll up today. Check it out. Vote. Dolphins get slaughtered by the Jets. Steelers lose in overtime to Chicago. International incident. Jacksonville buries the Ravens. Or Brady's heroics. We'll see what you guys have to say. Perfect segue. Shano, new segment this week. Your segment, your baby. Daddy's dumpster fires. Let's cue the music here. Now, let me explain what Daddy's dumpster fires are. Guys that we thought were going to go off that completely shit the bed and probably cost you your fantasy week. Shano, give them to me.
I mean, right off the bat, I mean, I was so high on one Ajayi. 2, I was talking to you about Isaiah Crowell all week. He went to the coach. I thought for sure he was going to get the carries, get the volume, and he didn't do dick. I even sat, and this is sickening, I sat Stephon Diggs, which was warranted because Case Keenum is a piece of shit. But I put a Crowell in, and he did nothing. Ajayi, nothing.
Nothing. Ajayi was a big letdown. I got one for you here. Calvin Benjamin. Just get out of my face. If you can't go off against New Orleans, what good are you to me?
Waste of a frame. I mean, that guy is built to be the prototypical wideout that you want. Go up and get it, and he's soft.
Against the Saints, too, man. Carolina's offense in general. I seen Cam Newton was on the drop list on Roto World. Like, I mean, I think that's a little extreme. But, I mean, the fact that people are even talking about that's crazy. That's how far that offense has fallen.
I started Cam Newton.
He's a dumpster fire.
I don't know. I don't know. Also, just want to talk about one other guy that I thought was definitely on the mend. Definitely not a dumpster fire. Kirk Cousins. I mean, he looked good.
Yeah, Cousins lit it up. I mean, the Redskins in general lit it up. Dude, but my MVP, is that your MVP of the week here for fantasy?
My MVP of the week is University of Phoenix graduate Larry Fitzgerald. Absolute
he went off
monster last. I mean, he just, what is he, 34? I think he's 34. He looks like he could play till he's 60 at this rate.
And I'm going to go with Diggs. I mean, Diggs was just so damn good. I didn't see that coming. He was just the MVP of the week. If you had Diggs in your DraftKings or FanDuel lineup or even in your starting lineup, God bless you. You're a better man than me. I had him right where I thought he belonged on the bench. Jesus. Now, you know what? I'm happy to be an owner of Stephon Diggs, but damn, I wish I had him in the starting lineup. Idiot.
For how good of a week he had, like, you can't even brag like, yeah, he's on my team because I had him on the bench like a jackass.
Dude, and you know what? Kareem Hunt just doesn't stop, does he?
I'm an owner of Kareem Hunt, so yeah, let's go. But that guy, I don't think he's the next best thing. I mean,
now I have a thought for you.
Does everything.
I have a thought for you. Would you sell high on Kareem Hunt now? Maybe gets a top flight running back and a pretty good wide receiver back? Because I love to sell high. I'm a big proponent on buy low, sell high.
No.
You think he's going to kill it for the rest of the year?
The volume that he's seeing right now is just I can't warrant any trade. Like, there's no reason to get rid of him for the amount of points he's putting up. I mean, let's look at just real quick, just off the top of, like,
he's going nuts.
I'm going to go over his stats. I mean, they're silly. 17 attempts for 148 yards and a TD against New England. Not to mention 5 receptions for 98 yards and 2 TDs. Then against Philly, he does 13 for 81, 2 TDs. And against last
Yeah, and he
week,
was bottled up in the most of the game against the Eagles, and you're like, okay, he's coming back to earth. And then he hits a 50 freaking yard touchdown.
and then last week he goes 17 for 172 and another TD.
Insane last week again. And he's got a juicy matchup with the Redskins on Monday night. He could go nuts again there.
Yeah, I mean, the Redskins did a good job of bottling up Lynch. It didn't look, I mean, granted they were playing from behind.
See, I am gonna go on the other side though. I would, if you could find a dumbass owner in your league, and I know there's plenty of them that just look at like the rankings. Oh my God, this guy's ranked number 1. If you could go get like Jordy Nelson and like Devontae Freeman for Kareem Hunt right now,
100%.
or something like that,
But
you make that damn deal.
If you play with an absolute imbecile,
Well,
I do that
there's a
deal.
lot of guys in your league that are
I
imbeciles.
had there's 3 of them in my league that would probably go for it.
There's one in my big league. You know who you are if you're listening. Just don't give all your players to your brother-in-law, please, okay? I'm not going to name anybody by names. But Kareem Hunt, you could get a ton for Kareem Hunt if you really wanted to. If you're hurting in other areas, you could really make a living off Kareem Hunt, I think. So who's your guys you're looking for in week 4 here?
You know what? I think Larry Fitz again. I mean,
Well, they're desperate, and it's desperation time for them.
Sam Fran, he's playing. I mean,
You saw what Jared Goff did to them, for Christ's sake.
he made Jared Goff. I think just reinvented Sammy Watkins' career last week. So I also think Julio has a big week. I'm all aboard the Zach Ertz train. The volume he's seeing, and
He is seeing a great deal.
I'll tell you what though, I got really frustrated. I was screaming for him to break a tackle, and as soon as he did, he fumbled the ball. So I was like, you know what? Let's take what we can get. Like, okay, if you want to brace for impact every time you catch the ball and go down, that's fine.
I think this is the week for Ezekiel Elliott. I think he might go for $150 and a couple this week against I keep calling the Chargers San Diego and the Rams St. Louis. Maybe you should have just stayed where you were. But anyway, against Los Angeles Rams in Dallas, I think Elliott, he came live on Monday night a little bit.
Elliott versus Gurley.
I think Elliott, this is the week Elliott comes alive. If I was going to start my DraftKings team, that's who I would start it with. And speaking of DraftKings, ladies and gentlemen, big announcement. We are going to be running the MouthpieceSportsTalk.com DraftKings League starting this week. We'll do it every week. It'll be first come, first serve. I will tweet the link and put the link on Facebook. You'll have it today. Sign in, first come, first serve. I think we're going to go for 20 people. We may do 25. You'll see when you sign up, but get in fast. It's going to be weekly. If it gets better, we'll move it up each week. More players, more the merrier. Big announcement, our first big thing that we're doing here on Mouthpiece. Dunphy, are you in or what?
Yeah, I'm in. Thanks everyone for the donation.
Yeah, I'm taking everybody's money. It's going to be, you're all going to donate the money to me, and I'm going to go get a mic. How does that sound?
I love it.
So just get ready to fork that over, but get in quick because it's going to be first come, first serve, and spots will go quickly. All right, so you notice we scrapped the 5 questions from this week, but we are going to go to Twitter questions for this week. So I got a few that I want to run by you, Shane, and I will answer as well. Number 1, are the Seattle Seahawks no longer a top 10 team? That's from Huddy.
Oh,
it's a pretty good question because they do look like shit.
That's a great question.
He actually says, what the hell is wrong with the Seahawks? So I ask you, what the hell is wrong with the Seahawks?
Line. Russell Wilson, I mean, I still think he's a really good quarterback, but you got to protect the guy. Doug Baldwin. He's going to come back around. He'll get his. I think Jimmy Graham's a fraud. I absolutely do, even though he had a good week. But I still think he's a shell of what he was in New Orleans. But I don't know, man. I'm not like – they don't scare me anymore. Before you see him on the schedule, it's like, oh, fuck. Now it's
I'm not as – I agree. And I was even like I'm thinking about suicide this week, and I'm thinking, man, could they lose to the Colts? I mean, that thought wouldn't have came in my head. But that thought wouldn't have came in my head a year or two ago. I'm going to say they're still on the borderline top 10. I still think they're going to win that division, though, because that division's ass. Unless the Rams win it, which I can't see. Arizona sucks. I don't want to hear about them anymore. Bruce Arians, get your big mouth out of my sight. That team, you talk about bad play calling.
Oh
He's the worst. So I still think Seattle win the division. They're not –
if they're going to lose to anyone, it's going to be the Rams. But I still think the Rams are They're the Rams. They're just. I don't know.
I
what
can't
else.
buy
They're
into
the
it
Rams.
yet. Yeah, I can't buy into them yet. And I don't know if the 12-4 days are over for them, I guess, for now. But, they could still win that division at 10-6.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're dead yet. I have to give you the fantasy one. Who won the trade in my fantasy league? Michael Thomas for Deshaun Jackson and Christian McCaffrey.
Whoever got Deshaun and Christian
Yeah?
McCaffrey.
Wow, I think Michael Thomas side won that.
Well, Christian McCaffrey, there's no Greg Olsen anymore, so he's going to see.
Yeah, but this isn't a PPR league. Just keep
No
in mind.
PPR?
No PPR.
Okay, then.
She traded a second-round pick
Yeah, no
for Deshaun Jackson and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, no PPR.
Bookie, I'm
out there.
talking to you.
No PPR that goes to whoever got Michael Thomas. Because
agree.
the only way McCaffrey has value is out of the backfield with the checkdowns, PPRs. I mean, he had, I think, like less than 30 yards last week, but still put up 20 points in PPR. And Deshaun Jackson's a home run play, so
Deshaun had a good week last week.
he did.
Well, my sneaky plays got in the end zone, but that's about all I had. I didn't have much.
Yeah, so non PPR, which I mean, I don't even like to even have those conversations because I
know.
hate those.
Our
leagues,
leagues,
but-
we've been doing it for a long time, but I say Michael
yeah,
Thomas
Michael
side wins.
Michael
I'm sorry.
Thomas side does win.
All right, now Carson Wentz. Doc Coyle asks, what quarterback would you want him to mimic and why?
Who do you got?
Who do I got? I want him. Well, you know who I want him to mimic. I want him to be like Peyton Manning, an athletic Peyton Manning. That's why I do the Wentz report every week and compare him to 99 Manning. That's what I'm dying for him to do because I feel like he has the smart. Manning didn't throw the greatest of deep balls either, so that's who I want him to be. If I can mold him into somebody, it would be Peyton for me.
Okay.
I know that's a lofty goal. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But if you're asking me the question, that's who I want him to be. Who does he remind me of? I'd say maybe. I hate to say Roethlisberger because that's so cliche, but he does have a little Big Ben in him. But
he does. I could see where he
I hate
shrugs guys
comparisons
off.
like that, though. I hate comparisons like that, though. I
Yeah.
like to use stats to compare.
If we're going based on just what I've seen so far, his athletic ability, he kind of reminds me of like a poor man's Aaron Rodgers in a sense, to where he can run around and get it done with his feet. I mean, he kept a lot of drives alive on Sunday, but also, I mean, he throws a pretty good ball too. I mean, his deep ball definitely needs work. It's nowhere even close to Aaron Rodgers, not even in the same conversation. But I would love to see him kind of just be like an Aaron Rodgers type quarterback.
I mean, that wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. I'll tell you that. If Wentz turns into be Aaron Rodgers, I'm fine
And
with
you
that.
think about how many plays Rodgers keeps alive with his feet, or where he's running and then just throws the ball like shotgun from the hip like an animal.
I mean, I think he does that almost to a fault too much, but
yeah.
I'll believe me. Don't get me wrong. I'll take Aaron freaking Rodgers. All right. If the Eagles go to LA and win this week, where do they finish at? 11-5, 10-6, 12-4. Where do you have them finishing? Because this is a good question because let's go over the schedule. If they do beat the Chargers this week, they have Arizona at home. They go a Thursday night to Carolina, who looks like they suck. They come back home for 3 straight. Monday night against Washington, San Fran, and Denver. So we'll just take it from there.
Let's do game breakdown. So you got at LA, say they win, right? Then after that,
Which we'll talk about how we're feeling about this game. I'm not so sure they're going to win this game or not, but
we'll get into it. I don't like that they're going across country, but Cardinals, at this point, it's looking, all signs are pointing to a win.
yeah, that's a win for me. I'm sorry.
Panthers, that's an away game in Carolina. Thursday night.
That could be a win. It's not
Could
like,
be a
oh
win.
my God.
I'm not, believe me, I'm not, with how Cam Newton's been playing, I'm not concerned with Carolina, but I could see them, I don't know.
And then you got Monday night after a nice little break against Washington at home.
At home, I'll give it a win. Monday night, prime time, come on.
And then San Fran, who sucks.
Yeah, but this is the type of shit that I feel like just always happens to all Philly sports. We wind up playing like great game, coming off a high, and then just shit the bed. Just shit the bed.
I don't think they'll lose to San Fran, dude. I got news for you. I'm not even considering that.
I hope not.
And then Denver at home,
Yeah,
which is a lot better playing them
I don't
at
want to
home
play. Yeah,
than
I don't
playing
want
them
to play
in
in
Mile
Mile
High.
High. No way. Yeah. Realistically, I think you could go.
So if they win this week, they're 3-1. They win next week, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, going again to Denver. The Eagles are 7-1. I'm running down 95, with nothing but my birthday suit on, doing jumping jacks. That's how jacked up I'm going to be. You're going to have to put me in a straitjacket. But I mean, the schedule that was once looked like it was so damn hard doesn't look like it's that hard anymore. This is why the NFL is a week-to-week league.
It is. Like, you're looking at it.
So, I mean, we can't even really project this, but it is nice to look at and nice to know that the schedule is not as difficult as we once thought. Because
if they win this week in LA,
that's big.
It's massive. I mean,
this is big. Yeah. I mean, it's not like life-altering if they lose. It's not going to kill your season. You're going to be 2-2, and you got a nice, comfy schedule coming up.
No, but if you're come back home with like a just injured, battered, terrible play calling, horrible coaching Arizona team with no David Johnson.
With Chris Johnson, a 40-year-old running back, a 40-year-old shit quarterback, and a 40-year-old receiver.
Yeah, Barnett will rip Carson Palmer.
Like I said, this isn't like a must-win, obviously, or anything like that. 2-2 is still good. It's still on par. Man, if they could win this, I agree. Good question. They could be, they could be in pretty good shape. All right, who deserves the game balls for the Eagles on each side of the ball? You can't pick Jake Elliott from this Sunday.
You can't pick Jake Elliott?
Can't pick Jake Elliott. That's the question.
I mean,
that's our last Twitter question.
Well, real quick, just had to plug this in there. Jake Elliott has a 2-foot cock. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, you can't pick him, so pick somebody else.
Offensively, I'm going to give it to LeGarrette Blount. I think LeGarrette Blount had a good game. I think he needed to be used more, which I don't know what the fuck Deuce Staley's doing, but
I agree. But I'm going to actually give see, I'm going to just piggyback off what you're saying. I'm going to give game ball. I'm going to give it to LeGarrette Blount and Wendell Smallwood, who both averaged 5.9 yards a carry. Don't forget people out there.
Yeah, well, Clement, is that how you say his last name? Mm-hmm. Clement. He looked good, too.
Except he shouldn't be getting carries in the fourth quarter. He almost fumbled before the game-tying field goal.
If Sproles is still in the game, he's not getting anything, which... R.I.P. Can we pour out a 40 for my man
seriously,
Darren
Sproles, you deserve better. Get well soon.
Not his arm and his knee?
My God. I thought he avoided the non-contact knee injury, but I guess he didn't. All right, so defense real quick, game ball.
I'm going to go with my man Rasul Douglas, West Virginia product. I thought he played
well, too.
Best game in the world, but he played good. Had a lot of attention thrown his way, so I think he managed it pretty well.
I'm going to go with Patrick Robinson, who was left for dead
I like that.
this offseason, especially in training camp. People were saying he's the worst corner they've ever seen. He didn't look like the worst corner I've ever seen. He actually played pretty damn well, and I really liked what I saw. I thought the secondary, how banged up they were, played pretty damn good. I mean, like, what else could you ask for? The defense line didn't get a sack. I mean, yeah, it was quick passes, and that's kind of been the kryptonite for the Eagles defense, but the corners kept everything in front of them. I thought they played really well until the fourth quarter. Yeah, it was fucking hot. Don't forget how damn hot it was outside. That's a big factor.
I'm actually.
We could just get into last week too.
If you told me before the game, the Eagles D-line they're not going to get to Manning once. They have to get to him once, and you win $100. But if they don't, you owe me $5,000. I'd have been like, yeah. Book it.
Seriously, that was my lock of I said it last week, over 5. I thought they would go over 5. I think the defense played all in all pretty well, though.
Yeah, I
think Schwartz is doing a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, I love when the camera pans to him. He just looks like he has to take a shit. It's incredible.
All right, and if you've been listening to anything else this week. Why is he making it harder on himself? Doug, everybody is up your ass so far you can't even breathe. Why are you going for it on 4th and 8? You don't have to do that. You could punt there. Make it easier on yourself, my man. Please, God.
There was a guy sitting in front of me that I don't know if it was because of the heat or what, but I'm pretty sure on 4th and 8 he had an aneurysm and just died in the stands.
Who didn't? Just stop. Why does he have to do the dumb shit? Because he actually doesn't call that bad of a game. He does some goofy shit with wide receiver screens on 3rd and 1 plays, and he goes for it a lot. But, just stop doing the dumb shit like 4th and 8, Doug. That you don't have to do that because you don't do a bad job otherwise. But you're making it really tough on me to back you every damn week. Just stop.
Yeah, Shooter McGavin. Everyone's coming around. Well, I'm not, Doug. All right.
Seriously, can he just make it a little easier on himself? I'm not asking a lot. Imagine if they would have lost that game. The Giants come down and score. I know I don't want to harp on the 4th and 8. I really don't because they did win the game, so I can't bury them too bad. But just make it a little easier on yourself. Don't do the dumbest shit ever. If you didn't check out the Wentz report, it was pretty damn good this week. I know I'm biased because I wrote the damn thing, but I do think it was pretty good. And there's one stat that's alarming me a little bit. You'd be like, okay, Glock, what do you mean? Like 7.03, who cares about his yards per attempt? But it's actually be a thing like where they're not throwing down the field enough. It's a combination of Wentz not connecting down the field and not being as consistent with his down the field throws. And I don't think Doug's calling enough plays to get the ball down the field. I'm tired of the wide receiver screens. I'm tired of the gadget plays. Let's get the ball down the field because I don't want him to be like, okay, Carson can't make these big throws, so I'm not going to call him. And I also don't want Wentz to be in his own head, man, I don't know why I can't make these down the field throws, blah, 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 blah. No, we need to get down the field a little bit more.
I feel like if a defense were to play like actual real press coverage, that dink and dunk bullshit is not going to work. It's not going to work.
I don't want Carson Wentz to turn into a dink and dunk quarterback. 7.03 yards per attempt is pretty low. Even last year, would have ranked in the middle of the league. Would have ranked 18th. I think he's 14th right now. Alex Smith, you just brought him up. He's averaging 9.21 yards per attempt. I mean, that's Alex fucking Smith, for Christ's sake. Let's get down the field a little bit more. I think Wentz does he'll eventually get the deep ball, but I want to see the 20 to 30-yard passes.
And that's where I think Torrey Smith needs to be more involved. I mean, he's a veteran. He's not a rookie. Like, just trust him a little more. Just have faith. And that's where I think Alshon, too, who I thought was in for a monster week.
Well, Wentz did miss him.
He did.
Missed him on a surefire touchdown. It was on the drive, the 4th and 8 fucking drive. So if Wentz just hits him, we're not talking about 4th and 8 at all. We're up 14-0.
But at the same time, they need to give him more opportunities like that, not just sparingly once a game.
Even last year, though, his yards per attempt was 29th in the league. I mean, that's pretty bad at 6.23. I know the receivers weren't as good last year. But now that's not the excuse this year. I want to see some more down the field. I know I'm maybe nitpicking, but I
think that goes back to what were we talking about last week? We were saying like they rank like in rushing the pass attempts. Like if you're going to have that many pass attempts like Green Bay did, I want you to throw it down the field more. I don't want the 3-4 yard pass attempts all the way down the field. Like
I know, I totally agree. And sometimes that scheme, take what the defense gives you, whatever. But I just think Wentz has so much more to offer. I don't want his growth stunned at all, one way or the other, whether it's the coach or himself. I think
that's the one glaring concern that everyone has with Doug is they don't want him to stunt Carson's growth.
I mean, yeah, I totally agree. And if he sees Wentz missing these throws and then he's afraid to call a play down the field, like that's not good for anybody. And Peterson might not be here long term. Who knows? But Wentz is going to be here long term. He's the most important player in the freaking franchise. I want to see a little bit more. I'm nitpicking because I think he's been great this year, but the yards per attempt is a little concerning for me, and that's pretty much the only concerning thing from a Carson Wentz standpoint for me. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that. But
I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but everything you just said is pretty much exactly how I feel.
Well, then we can get into week 4. Yep.
Yeah, baby.
The Birds are heading to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. The stadium will be pretty much all Eagle fans, I'm assuming, because no Charger fans give a shit, especially since they're 0-3. My God, nobody will be there. I told them they should tank last week and go get Rosen. Maybe it'll be a reality this week. Maybe they could be 0-4. How you feeling about this game?
I don't know, man. Like, I think they can absolutely go in and win. I always think like Oakland's the perfect example to back up my point now. It's like any team that's to travel across the country. I mean, it's far. Like it's not like you have to adapt. It's two different time zones. So yeah. I mean, it's not like going to London. Like there's two shitty teams.
It's their one of 2 trips to LA, which is total bullshit. But I mean, it is what it is. But I just wish they were back to back. Or I wish they started the season out with one and then had one later in the year. But it is what it is. It's week 4. They're traveling to LA against another wounded animal. You would think the Chargers are going to come out and play balls to the wall. But
the Chargers 0-3.
They're 0-3.
Oh my God!
Maybe I
hate the Eagles this week then.
And the line's -1 for San Diego. Yeah, I don't love the Birds this week either. This is just a tough game.
I mean, exactly what happened last week, like the quick slants. that's the Chargers.
Keenan
That's
Allen.
the Chargers offense.
Yeah, but their offensive line is ass too. So is the Giants. So
I don't know.
I'm just hoping the Chargers are just done, and the Eagles go up there tight game because I don't think it's going to be a blowout one way or the other, especially for the Eagles standpoint. I just hope they don't get blown out. But
yeah.
I think it'll be a tough game. This will tell you a lot. If they go up there and beat them, this team's for real,
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah. I mean, this would be. I mean, the Chargers.
This would be a
if they're an
signature
NFL
road win for me.
It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, with the exception of maybe the Cleveland Browns, like it's like a layup almost every time you play them, even though they might play you tough. But like, this is an NFL team for a reason. Like, there's no like easy win in the NFL.
No, as we've seen,
Yeah.
if Week 3 taught us anything. So I mean, you never know. I mean, maybe the Eagles can go beat them. It would be a signature road win for me, and it would really, like we talked about earlier.
W. They're 0-3, but that's a big W on the road, especially across the country.
Dude, it would be a monster. It would be a party in Philly if they beat the Chargers. It would really set up the season
Oh my
pretty
God!
damn nice.
Could you imagine if fucking Jake Elliott kicks another game-winning field goal? I hope it's from like 80 yards this time.
I would love that. I would have to, see. No, he'll miss it this time since we all got his back. And they'll be hanging him at the stake on Monday morning. Him and Doug will be out. Get out, both of you. All right, so we got to talk a little NBA here. I want to get into the Carmelo trade. I want to get your thoughts on that. D-Wade going to the Cavs. I mean, the NBA is just never taking a break, is it? It's knocking on the NFL's doors like we talked about in the first episode of the Glockcast. I mean, the NBA's offseason's been all summer, continued into the fall. What do you think about the Thunder here? I mean, I know you're not the biggest NBA guy in the world, but even you could realize that that's a pretty...
At the surface level, I mean, you're giving the guy help. You're giving him what he needs. He's been a one-man show. Like, Durant left, whatever, but I mean, he's still a beast. Russell Westbrook is an animal.
That team, if anything else, they're going to be entertaining as shit with Carmelo, Russell Westbrook, and Paul George. I mean, that will be a fun... If that team was in the East, I would say they would go to the finals.
The West is stacked.
The West is stacked.
The East
With
kind of,
Houston,
honestly, the East is a little bit of a joke.
It's going to be entertaining. With Houston, OKC, still got the Spurs, and freaking, obviously, Golden State. It's going to be entertaining as hell. I mean, I'm psyched for the NBA. The Sixers are going now. And, I got an unpopular opinion about the Sixers. Not that I don't think they're going to be good. I just think the franchise rests in Ben Simmons' hands. I don't think Embiid is the key to the franchise. I think Ben Simmons is the key to the franchise. And you'll see Ben Simmons on full display this year. I expect monster things from him. And I couldn't be more excited for the 76ers to start up. Embiid's whatever he is he hurt? He's going to play? Is he not? If he plays great, we need him. Obviously, he's unbelievable when he's on the court, but he's only been on the court for 30 games. I can't bank on that. I'm banking on Ben being the man in this city. I want him to be the LeBron. I want him to be the Durant. I want him to be the franchise for the Sixers.
Yeah, and let's not sleep on Fultz either.
No, I mean, absolutely not. I can't wait to see this all on the court.
JJ Redick, too. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun-ass year in the NBA. And, dude, who's this guy scoring for the Flyers every night in the preseason? If you're not paying, the Flyers have started 2 preseason, but this one dude keeps – who's the sharpshooter?
Travis Sanheim. He's a defenseman. He reminds me of kind of like a Chris Pronger
He's a
type
defenseman, and he has 2 goals already?
Dude,
I didn't even
last
know what
night,
position he played.
6'4", about a little over 200 pounds, I think. But he basically just shuts down one side of the ice. And last night...
Is he going to make the team? He's going to make the team?
Yes.
All right. Was he on the team last year? Sorry.
Farm system. So
all right. So this is new. So I'm not an idiot for not knowing him.
No, so we're deep at D in the farm system. We're all set there. I just think offensively we got to kind of figure it out from a scoring perspective. Got to get G going again. I mean,
trying him out at left wing, huh?
Yeah, I think this is good for Coots too. I think Coots finally is gonna. He's a player like you can't put him with dog shit, or you're gonna get dog shit. Now you're giving him Voracek and G. I think this is his chance to finally kind of show he's the player that he can be.
Playoffs or no?
Yeah.
Did they make it
early? Yeah, I think they're a playoff.
Who's the goalie?
Team. Michael Neuwirth
or
Elliott. I mean, they're both playing hell.
Mason's gone.
Carter Hart's the guy in the future, in my opinion. And I think too, Sanheim last night, like I was saying, he sniped cheese with a clap on over King Henrik.
Yeah,
over King Henrik.
I'm listening on the radio and I'm like, damn, Who was the sharpshooter?
Yeah, they're going to
Decided,
be fun
hey,
to watch,
maybe
man.
we'll
They're
have
going to be fun to watch.
2 Philadelphia teams in the playoffs from winter sports. That would be pretty damn good. Hopefully the
start
Eagles can start the trend, then the Sixers, then the Flyers, and then the Phillies can get back there as well. Speaking of baseball, you have any interest in the upcoming playoffs?
I'll say this. I'm not a big baseball guy. I love going to the game. I can't really sit there on the couch and just watch it.
Let me try to persuade you here for a second.
All right, you got 30 seconds.
You got big markets. You got the Yankees. You got the Red Sox. You got the L.A. Dodgers, Houston Astros, Cleveland Indians, Washington Nationals, Bryce Harper. You guys have the same haircut. Come on, that's got to be big markets, big players. Aaron Judge.
He does have the best hair in baseball, so I'll take it as a compliment.
Would you be? Are you more inclined with the bigger markets?
I do.
Or you still don't care?
No, I like MLB playoffs. I like MLB playoffs.
Chill
But
in the air.
I still think that the season's like it's too long. Like I can't follow a team for
September hasn't been great either. Which there's no races anymore.
But I'm that way with every sport. Like I love sports so much that like I just love playoffs. Playoffs, anything is awesome. Just brings out
agreed.
the fire in athletes. You see who's the real player, who isn't, who loves to win.
And I think this will be actually a pretty damn good baseball playoffs, just because of what I said. The big markets. There's some big time players. There's some, can the Nationals get over the hump? Can the Dodgers win a World Series for the first time since 1988? I mean, there's a lot going on. Aaron Judge is a stud. Maybe the Yankees can beat the Indians. You can have a Yankees-Red Sox matchup.
He break McGuire's record? Is
I think
that what
he
I saw?
tied it, and that's going into Wednesday night, so I don't know.
That's
Sure.
impressive.
Or Tuesday night, I'm sorry.
That's
So I don't know. I know he tied it for sure. Stanton's a monster, but he won't be in the playoffs. But I mean, I think baseball's got. If they're ever going to have an opportunity, this would be the year. But they got to start like pumping it up. Get the casual fan into it, man.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The Phillies, like I've been watching them more and more, just kind of not more of like a click and stick, but I'm just like, hey, let me catch the end of this game. Rhys Hoskins looks like he's serious. I mean, I don't really know baseball talent, but he looks like he's actually like going to be like an epic player.
Yeah, the Phillies finally have a player to build around on it. And next year, I think the Phillies could, maybe be 500 and push for that second wild card. Definitely, that goes back on what we're talking about. Good things coming for Philadelphia sports. Finally,
I love it.
Maybe the abyss is over, and we will get some playoffs in this city. We're dying for it. My God. So, all right, let's wrap this up. Glockcast episode 6. Let me get a suicide pick off here.
Well, I'm
Before
looking
we
at
get out of here.
I'm looking at the board. I mean, there's the Diarrhea Bowl between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals in Ohio. That looks horrendous. My pick.
Pick and stay away, just like last week.
Stay away. Let's go with the Buccaneers.
Who are they playing?
The Giants, who are 0-3.
Okay, yeah, good stay away. Stay away from them. Don't pick them, people.
And I think my pick, I'm going to go with the Falcons at home. I think they go 4-0.
Against Buffalo. All right, I like it. My pick, Seattle, but you can't go wrong with Dallas. I would stay away from Green Bay again, man. They look like shit. It's a Thursday night. Chicago riding a high. I mean, I don't think they're going to lose, but if I had to run the operation...
Well, they're injured. They're injured, too. So.
If I had to run the operation, I just would stay away from them. You have better options, Seattle or Dallas being one of the two. Atlanta's not a bad option either. And you have a lock for me for this week.
I'm going back to the well. OK State. But
Oklahoma State, you think they'll come back, bounce back?
They bounce back, but my lock of the week is Clemson.
My lock of the week is Elliott over 100 yards.
I know
that. It's maybe a cop-out, but that's what I think. All right, Glockcast episode 6. Shano, thank you for joining me.
You got it. I'll see you guys next week.
Jake, I have a hammer in my pants. Elliott, Shane Dumpy. We'll be back next week. Check out mouthpiecesportstalk.com. Get in the fantasy DraftKings. I will tweet it out today. Make sure you get in. First come, first serve. We are firing on all cylinders. Content on top of content on top of content. Join the revolution. We're taking over. MouthpieceSportsTalk.com. Glockcast, I'll talk to you next week.